But anyways, let's actually take this, a little further,
Mhm.
right? Like from further from, as a designer, I'm trying to learn. Now, let's say I've learned like a good majority of things, and
Mhm.
I've got myself in a job. Like I'm just starting out, or I've been working as a designer for a year now.
Mhm.
What are like some of the common mistakes which you notice among people like me or people like junior designers who are like, in the experience level of 0 to 2 years? What are like the common mistakes which they make? This can be in anything, right? This can be in when it comes to like their portfolios or the way they do interviews, or it can be just the way they do things at work. What are like the common mistakes which you have noticed? Right?
So I think there's actually a lot of points that we could probably cover here. So the way that you mentioned, right? So one is the interviewing side of it, the other one is like working at the office side of it, and I'm sure there's other like faces to it as well. Let's just take up how you like work at office. I think one again, as I said, there's a lot of things that you can improve, and it also depends person to person. I see a lot of things that are very common for people to do. Like people just feel that okay, this is common, so I should do it, whereas others don't know that it's supposed to be that obvious, and they don't do it. So I'll point out the ones that I think are not that obvious, I guess, and people should spend more time on. So one of the biggest problems that I see is people getting sort of too caught up with their work, right? Too attached to what they're trying to build, right? And siloing themselves in creating that one page, that one screen, and getting so attached to it that whenever feedback comes, you're like, oh, you know, I put in so much effort. Do I really need to change this? And then you shut yourself off to that feedback as well. And it's a weird place to be in. Like that is something that you definitely want to avoid doing. I know it's very difficult just by saying that you should avoid doing. That's not how things are going to work. It takes time. It takes time to get used to that style of, I think, working, wherein you kind of know that okay, this is what I want to do, and this should ideally also achieve business goals, right? Because you're not just designing because you like it, right? You probably design because you love designing, but you're in the company because you paid to you're paid to make stuff for them. So you have to keep those things in mind. At the end of the day, you want to help achieve those business goals. The second part of it is uh somewhat connected to the first part, which is like just closing yourself in a very small space. Designers tend to be very antisocial, I feel. At least some of them do. I mean, I don't want to generalize anything here. I have been there, so I've done that. Whenever I keep telling myself, I want to get in my zone. I just don't disturb me. I'll just make the best stuff. So I'm just gonna keep myself away from people. But I've always felt that design actually does really well when you collaborate with people, right? Be it other designers, be it, I don't know, product managers, engineers, QAs, business stakeholders, even founders, co-founders, if you're working in smaller startups, pretty much everyone, right? Back-end developers. So I think the real power when it comes to sort of making great solutions, not just like good looking pixels, comes to some bit from I would say collaboration, right? So don't close yourself off like that. Try to collaborate with people, try to talk to people around you. They're going to help you get great insights which you otherwise did not even probably either just not notice or maybe did not think of. So I think that's something that's going to come really handy, which has helped me as well. I mean, uh, and from there you generally then grow outwards. You start taking up, uh, owning up some bit of, say, business decisions as well. Driving strategy for the product as well. That okay, because you as a designer understand product like none other, probably in your team, right? So you're in that place where you can actually help, if not obviously lead, but you can at least help guide some of the decisions. Help other PMs see the value of what you are proposing them, that okay, this is a feature that I want to build, because based on my understanding of users, my understanding of things that I've learned, I feel like this is going to really complement the user behavior, right? So I think these are the two or three things that I feel people can do better at work, especially. And obviously, I mean, just keep doing good work, man. You'll grow in life. Like in general, I think the funda is you keep doing good work. uh Obviously, getting feedback from people, because that's how you do good work. Otherwise, you can keep doing the same work and you think you're getting better without feedback, and you can keep doing it like wrong all of your life, and you'll probably think you're getting better at it, right? But it'll be the opposite. So do great work. And yeah, I mean, and think in retrospect. Always uh go back and see what do you think you could have improved. People sometimes just go on like this mindless spree of building stuff. I've done that, so I know. Personal example: you keep making stuff, you don't go back, you don't see what were the successes, what were the failures, what were the things that could have been improved. uh, could I have done this better? uh, you know uh, and even actually just seeing, in a lot of cases, this is mostly in case of, I think, service industry. People don't even know if the product that they built was successful, right? Because they're just tasked with the task to just ship things, right? Not then see did it work well, right? And if you do that, you don't learn if your designs are working, right? You don't learn that this was the right approach, or could it have been better, right? So I think that is some of the things that mostly are at office. And beyond that, I think in case of like interviews and all that, it's going to be very generic advice, but I would say focus on probably focus on the problem that you're trying to solve, maybe, and try to tell it in a way that people are able to relate to it. One thing, I've been taking a lot of interviews lately at Gojek, and one thing I've learned in the past, I think, year or year and a half is sometimes people get, again, too caught up in just the visual design aspect, right? Now I'm specifically talking about product design roles, so UX design, not visual design. uh, the advice would probably look a little bit different for visual design roles or for other roles as well. But in case of a product designer or a UX designer, as you know, in a lot of cases, companies refer to them as, don't get too fixated on how things look, but also think of how they're supposed to work, right? If they're actually, if how you've made them is something that will map up to the expectations of what the users had in the first place. That, I think, that is something that people don't really think all that often. So that's something that one should definitely do. Besides this, in general, work on your storytelling skills. The more interesting story you have around a product, people are able to relate to it, right? You can go about, just telling how your dashboard did not have click through rate because uh, the button was green and the other things were also green, and it will sound very robotic, right? It'll be like, okay, sure. And then you change the color of the button, right? Yeah, right. And that's how we increase the CTR by 8.5%, and we have 2 more million, and we have 2 more million customers, and we received round C of funding. People want stories, right? People, that's how people are able to relate to things, right? I mean, I find it very difficult, when I read books, I find it very difficult unless and until there's like a cool example that I can retain that concept in my mind. So I always find it easier to read books that have good examples, because then I can take away that concept in that form, or that story which was tied to that example, right? So that's how my brain works. Now, I'm sure that, there's millions of people around the world and they think differently. Some people have just amazing memory. Unfortunately, I don't. And I know how I work, right? So it's also about understanding you, but also understand the fact that when you tell stories, people are genuinely more intrigued. People are willing to listen. People want to know, Acha, what's the next, okay, what happened after that? Like, what did you do? What did you learn from the research, right? You just tell them, okay, we got this data, and 5% of the people were not clicking this. And just, yeah, sound a little excited probably. I know this might be like asking too much, but I don't know. These are some of the tips I think, are very basic things you can change, which will help boost, your, in general confidence, and project you as someone who's really in control and knows what they're speaking about, right? Believe it or not, even the smallest of the changes that you'll make can be you know, the defining line between you getting selected or someone else getting selected. Not that this is a zero sum game. I mean, obviously, you go somewhere else, you'll find a better job probably. But I mean, it just helps, you be in a better place, present yourself better in general, I think. So yeah, I think these are some of the advices. Again, there's probably like a list of hundreds of things that you can improve depending on what you're doing, what you're not doing. but these are the most generic ones that I can think of, the more general ones that I think people should be doing more of. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I really like the first point, which was where you talked about not attaching yourself too much to your design. I think I remember this tweet by Dharmesh, which I think which was on the lines that today in digital products everything is pretty much temporary,
Yep, yep.
and so the less you attach yourself with it, the better. And it's again, it's design, right? It's constantly evolving. There are more iterations, there are more changes which
Yep, yep, yep.
constantly keep happening. So the less we attach ourselves to the design, and the more we probably attach ourselves to the outcome, I think that could be like a good thing. And that's something which we follow very closely at Onge. We are very outcome driven, and we we don't attach ourselves to, like, what we are created. And even if someone says that, this is probably the worst design, we'll probably try to understand why it's the worst design and how it will affect our outcome,
Not like, oh
rather
shit.
than, yeah. Now, like we're no longer, we don't think from the perspective that, oh damn, someone told our design is horrible. Like,
Oh, done,
it's
man.
just
This is the end of the
this,
world.
this yeah, end of the world.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's true. I think digital products is, I mean, that's what digital products are all about, right? The cost to change things is so low that you can just change them any day, right? It's not like a building, right? You're not an
Yeah.
architecture, right? Sorry, you're not an architect, so it's not architectural design wherein you make a building and it will probably be there for like 50 years or 20 or 30 years, whatever the life of the building is, right? In digital product, you make a sign in page today, tomorrow that'll be changed because someone feels that there's some problem with it. So yeah, I mean, don't get too attached.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Product Stories for more such episodes.